All right. Peace, peace, and more peace, and even more peace than that. Right. Anyway, I greet you. I greet you with peace and also with love. And once again, I'm teaching Kemetic spirituality only from my point of view. This is not to say that this is the only pathway, or that, these are just some of the insights that I have discovered through my study. And so people always, the first thing they do is, they vilify you, they demonize you, and all that kind of stuff, and they don't really understand. A lot of times what they're talking about or whatever, because they're not as well read or as well studied. And so you have to take that into account, which is one of the things that I was bringing up in the last time about, honoring all altars and everything that people, believe in, because what you believe in, no matter what, is real to you. That's like when we got all these people running around with various forms and stages of cognitive dissonance, right? But that's why that exists. It exists because of that everybody is on their own path. And like I said, so when several paths merge or whatever, then it's a completely, like, just a good spiritual thing when several good paths or whatever merge together. Which you could say is like kindred spirits or whatever. So the first thing that I want to do, I want to go into Ma'at. And so what I'm going to do is, over the next few days, I'm gonna go over the principles. And so I guess I'll do like 2 a day. Yeah, that will like do the whole thing, right? And then we'll have like, and I'll just post them, and then we'll have like a series, so we'll be good with that. But so with the first negative confession is that I have not violated the peace, or to say in affirmation terminology, I am peaceful. Because and that in and of itself will solve a lot of your problems. Because a lot of things we're into this anxious type lifestyle, especially in the United States. That's the way we live. And so everything is put on a course, and everything is put on time and all that, which of course, if you really study, there really is like no such thing as time. Like everything is kind of happening simultaneously. Like if you really study the universe, like everything is kind of happening simultaneously at the same time. And once again, these are universal law type things. But once again, I want you to understand that these 42 negative confessions of Ma'at, or the 42, in fact, I will even go as far as to say the 42 affirmations of Ma'at, to say these things as affirmations, right? So once again, being peaceful and being at peace is not something that you have to, you should not have to work at that. And that's why we constantly like stress like meditation and prayer and all of that, because as you spend time with yourself, not only do you learn yourself, right, but then you start to get not only do you learn yourself, but you get a deeper understanding of yourself. And it is also the catalyst and the motivation for being able to change yourself. If you have things that you really want to change about yourself. See, a lot of people just can't change themselves because they have no spiritual foundation. And affirmation, especially, is one of the greatest spiritual foundations. Just like I told my son, I was like, look, think about somebody like Muhammad Ali. I said, Muhammad Ali used to, you know, nobody called Muhammad Ali the greatest. Muhammad Ali called himself the greatest first. And then he worked hard and he backed up his hard work. And then he literally, in his perspective area, proved that he was great and that he was the greatest. So as he spoke those words, and he trained and he worked and he did well, but every day he said whatever. You know, I knew a pastor friend of mine, and he I mean, let's be honest, he wanted to be rich. And so everybody he met, he told them that he was a millionaire. He wasn't a millionaire. He is now. Because everybody he met, he told them that he was a millionaire. So these affirming things. So eventually, and what happens is the universe is alive. The universe is a living organism. It's a literal living organism. We are living inside of this living organism. Something there, and that's why I keep telling y'all. It's like, look, there is something bigger than us. But peace is like where it all begins, to get enlightenment and consciousness and understanding. Because as you go through, just like you don't even realize like how many levels of consciousness you have, or how many levels, just like when people talk about the power, just the power of your brain, like how much of our brain is not used because we don't try to expand our knowledge and our wisdom and our thought processes, or try new things or things like that, because we stay stuck in a certain pattern and whatever, and the repetition. Now, repetition in and of itself is good. Repetition in and of itself is good. So every time I think of that Prince song. There's joy in repetition. That always comes to mind. So it's like the more you repeat something, the more you say so. So, and sometimes, like when you have sometimes you can't have a humble or a spirit when you're into that repetition stuff. It's just like, I kind of remember like from being, you know, a teenager playing football, and you know how like everybody would get, you know, we would have, you know, chants or whatever that we would do, you know, coming onto the field and during warm-ups and all that kind of stuff. You know, that was like, and Little League too. We used to do that in Little League. And, you know, I guess it might have been, I think it might have been a black thing. I'm not sure, but either way, I was just, but it put everybody in sync spiritually. And that's what I was saying, like in the other, you know, episode that I did. I was talking about how, you know, like all of these things are going on simultaneously, but eventually somehow the kindred spirits that like something are drawn together. One of those things is music, because music attracts, like a song can attract like millions of people. and continue, and as long as it is in a historical, playable, listenable, ascertainable by our psyche, then it can continue, you know, to do that. Because when people, it's been scientifically proven, like when people hear music or hear certain things or see certain things and all this, your sensory perception is triggered and your memories are triggered by all kinds of things, but they're all sensory. So your sight, your smell, taste, all those things go, oh yeah, you know, just like old people back in the day, they used to like kill the chickens, you know. So you kill a chicken, you know, wring the chicken's neck, bring it inside, you know, pluck the feathers, do all that, right? And then fry the chicken. And that's like, you know, you can't get chicken like that at the supermarket. You can't even get that. And you can't get the taste that they had it, you know, because you wonder, like, why was my grandmother's or my great-grandmother's fried chicken so much better? Anyway, now I'm off talking about fried chicken, but peace, I'm supposed to be on peace. I have not violated the peace. I have not violated my inner peace. And look, there's a lot of different aspects to even to peace. The outward piece of the earth, the outward piece of just dealing with people and all of that kind of stuff. And one thing that I learned is that everybody's going through something, and it's just like, and when you meet them, you have to meet them where they're at, and understand where they're at. And it was, in fact, it was one of the rules that we learned in law school. There's a rule called the thin skull rule. So you have to, wherever the plaintiff or wherever the plaintiff was at the time, or whatever condition they were in, even if they were already in bad condition, you still have to be, you know, you have to do your part so that you're not negligent against them, right? But so you have to take people at face value and for where they are at that time. And that's why, and even that's another reason why you don't, like, back to the thing about respecting altars and respecting, you know, people's past and all that, because everybody is at a different point, and everybody doesn't just, and I'm guilty of this, don't get me wrong, because when I was in the process of coming up through Christianity, and then, you know, and then the different denominations of Christianity and all of the different things and the different rules and the different doctrine and all of that. But when you get into spirituality, you realize that all of that stuff is unnecessary, because you're already here for a purpose. And unless that purpose is like evil, right? If that purpose is not an evil purpose, then 9 times out of 10, all you have to do is be set on that path to your purpose, and your life is good. You can live, you know, you can live a good, full, fulfilled, you know, life, doing what it is that you're supposed to be doing. And see, that's the other thing, because once again, we go back to things like time and everything. That's what puts pressure on people. That's what makes people anxious. That's what, you know, that's what makes everything, you know, like kind of stuck together. But everybody is not going to do things, okay, in the same amount of time. It took me years to graduate from college, from undergrad. But that was because I had a good job. I had a job, you know, I had a job that most people were going to undergrad to get. You know, I was already making good money. You see what I'm saying? So it all depends. Everybody's path is different. But if I would have said, but if I would have listened to everything that was being said to me, like at every point and every turn, then I wouldn't have ended up on the path that I'm on. And I would not be serving my purpose. I would not understand myself. I would not understand the world around me. It wasn't until I got onto the spiritual path and it started, you know, to be honest, it started through meditation, and it started through prayer, and it started through just, you know, spending a lot of time and fasting, you know, and all of those type of things, trying to seek God and seek the face of God and trying to find out who God was and all of that daily, on a daily basis. That's what I did, because that's what was important to me. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't because, you know, and that's the other thing. Whatever is important to you, and once again, this goes back to repetition, whatever is important to you, that's what you'll do. You know, just like between my wife and I, we have, like, if my wife calls, like if I'm on the phone with you know, with President Biden, shit, if I'm on the phone with Donald Trump, I know I shouldn't be cussing. I'm trying to, but I'm gonna get off the phone and talk to my wife. You know, if the leader of the free world calls, guess what? And my wife calls at the same time, guess who's gonna get picked up on? My wife. So you make time and you make allowances, you know, because, and that's something I learned by being in the media. It's like, come on, you know, you could say this, that, and the other thing, but, and one of the oldest adages in the book is, if you want something done, ask a busy person. Don't ask a lazy person, because they ain't gonna get it done. You want to ask the person that's active in motion, agitation, making things happen, vibrating, you know, doing things, vibing at a level. A person that's on a lower level, and then that always goes back to, and I want to bring this up as well, like your inner peace is based on your chakra energy. So your inner peace and wellness and all of that is based upon how your chakra energy, because that's the energy fields that are coming. Those are the vibrations that are going in and out of your body all the time. Whether, look, and let's not, and I'm not going to argue with nobody about it, because you can scientifically prove it. It is a measurable thing. And the only, even the seventh chakra, even the crown chakra has been scientifically proven. So the Christos, the Christ state that everybody can reach. That's the other thing. Everybody has the ability to become Christ. And that's another, that's one of the things that they don't want everybody to be Christ. So like I said, so everything that you see and everything that you pick up on, a lot of it is made so that you don't rise in that energy. Everything out here, that's why you have to have that inner peace. It's like everything out here is designed to push you, not to push you to your crown chakra. Everything out here is designed to bring you to your root chakra. Even so far as the serpent and all of that, you know, because they understood the Kundalini. They understood the rise of that energy would enlighten you. Why is it that they use the serpent in the, you know, I forget what you call that, for the medicine, right? I mean, you know, I'm just throwing questions out there now. I don't, you see what I'm saying? But the serpent is deceptive, and the serpent deceived the woman and all of that stuff. And that was all created and encapsulated to enslave women. not to enlighten you or to make your, or to lighten your load or to lighten your spirit and to make you peaceful. See, the yin yang to this, the balance to this is that what you're trying to do is you're trying to maintain inner peace and peace around you. And people say all the time, hey, well, you know, and you can't be all, you know, and as I go through these negative confessions, you will see like how all of this stuff is tied together. And the reason why certain things are the way that they are is because the colonizers and all of those people and the people that want to, that are the, you know, the opposite to what we're trying to balance, or what you're trying to balance within yourself, those outside forces like time. That's why I say time is an outside force, because you feel pressured by time. So you do things, and it's the time stamp that somebody put on it that motivates you, but that should never be your motivation. See, the divine force in you telling you what to do should be your motivation, and you don't even, and a lot of people don't even know what to listen for or anything like that, or they hear things all the time and they don't follow because people tell them that, you know, that whatever they're hearing or whatever, or they're crazy or they're demonic or they're blah blah blah. That's not true. What they're hearing is they're hearing the directions from on high, wherever they're coming from. We have proof. There are the Akashic records. All those inventors that have invented things or that discovered things or whatever, that was not done all scientifically. A lot of it was done spiritually and through prayer and what? Repetition. Because what are they trying to do? They're trying to replicate, they're trying to repeat whatever it was over and over again so that they can use it. And then once again, anything that they create in humanity, what? It can either be used for good, or it can be used for evil, or it can be used somewhere in between. So once again, sin that's not even in the equation, which is what we're all like programmed. That's time, sin, grief, pain, fear, all of those things that they try to, those are all mechanisms to force you out of who you really are and who you really are supposed to be. And I'm not talking about dream. I'm not talking about that kind of thing. There are certain people that are put on earth and are destined to do things. And there are certain people that are put here, that develop into things. Just like, but the other thing is, all of it is predicated on work, or hard work, or something. Slavery was what was slavery? Slavery was a way that they avoided having to do the work in order to make the manifestation. See, because once again, and that's almost like saying prayer without works is dead. So you can do all this affirmation, you can do all of this, all of that, but if you don't follow it up with work, then nothing's going to happen. Because everything is, all the energy and the vibrations and everything, that's all energy. Your chakras are all energy. And when you're not feeling good and all of that kind of stuff, and this is stuff that I have learned even by being sick, like almost near death, and being in that state, and then trying to figure out how to re-energize myself and re-energize my being. And once again, we go back to your being. If your being, and then as we go through these negative confessions, as we go through these negative affirmations, you will see that your being is lined up spiritually on a certain path to take you to a better life, to be able to live better under the sun. Everybody's gotta live a life under the sun, under the sun. You see what I'm saying? So I am peaceful. I have not disturbed the peace. So that means, like, so when it's been hard. Don't get me wrong. Transformation and change is hard. It's not easy. It takes, what, according to the experts, it takes 17 to 21 days to change a habit, whether it's good or bad. To create one, or to change one, or to whatever. But if you start, I guarantee you, if you start with inner peace and you start with a spiritual foundation, either prayer, meditation, whatever, and all that is the awareness of your different levels of consciousness. I asked my wife, I said, you know, when I got operated on, how long was I out? Because I didn't even ask the doctor. I should have, but and she said, you know, she's like, I wasn't thinking about that, and I was like, yeah, no. And then I thought about it, and during the time that they were operating on me, I remember, like, I woke up twice, and I remember, and then, but when I woke up for the third time, when I was like really woke in the recovery, or in the while I was in intensive care, when I woke up in the intensive care, but there was like a time when I was unaware of like where I was, and so it, you know, kind of intrigues me, like, where was I? Right. Anyway, because that's what meditation does. It improves your level of consciousness, like your surroundings, the things, that discernment, like the spiritual discernment, like when people, like when you feel stuff in your gut sometimes, you're right. It's the spirit telling you, look, you know, this is the way to move, this is the way not to move. And you know, whatever it is that you're counting on, and whatever it is that you call it, once again, being back to respecting all altars. Because a person, I mean, let's keep it real. A person that calls on the name Jesus, right? They believe that Jesus is going to save them and help them. So that's why you can't disrespect them. And it's not keeping the peace. Because, believe me, if they want to become enlightened, they can. Some people don't want, you know, to become enlightened. The scriptures say, with knowledge comes sorrow. I don't know if that's true, because with knowledge, to me, I'm after all this stuff I've been through, I'm thriving. And that's why I started teaching, because I want you to thrive. I don't want you to be caught up in in this whole thing about all of this stuff because you don't have the tools, and you have the tools, but you don't use the tools because people have told you that your tools are either satanic, demonic, occult, or whatever terminology they want to use. And half the time, you don't even know what those terms mean. So those are terms that if I was you and you're just seeing this and you're thinking about changing the spirituality or whatever, I would look those terms up. Because they don't mean what you think they mean. And they don't support what you think they support. They are not witness or evidence for anything. Go look them up. If I call something occult or whatever, what does that really mean? And once again, everybody is trying to manipulate the spiritual world in order to get things in this world, in this sphere that we're in this place. Everybody. No matter what you call it or what you say, you know. So what one person does, honor all altars, respect all altars. Don't disrespect people's religion or this, that, and the other, because that's what they believe. And like I said, and it doesn't make them evil or satanic or demonic or and all of that. And a lot of that stuff was made up too. A lot of those, you know, Satan and all. Okay. and here's the other thing, and most of it was stolen from ancient African spiritual practices or stories. You know, but their stories were just stories in order to teach you a lesson. They were like parables. And they're not, and we're not polytheistic and all that kind, you know, that's not what it is about. It's about understanding the aspects of your humanity. Because once again, you are fully human. You are fully spirit, and you fully exist because those things collided. And that's what you got to learn how to deal with. So starting off with that inner peace, meditation, prayer, getting closer, and not getting closer trying to get materialistic stuff. That's not what that's about. I'm talking about get there and be like, look, I want to find out who I am. If you want to know something, right, about the product, you got to ask the manufacturer. Anyway, I'm starting to get silly now, but look, peace, and peace. That's why I didn't even know what to, like when I started doing these, I didn't even know what to say at the beginning, because I was just like, well, what do I say? I was like I have like a broadcast group, because my background's in broadcast. I'm like, should I have like a broadcast? No, but because the real deal is peace. So peace be unto you. Peace be unto everybody. Peace be unto your families and friends and loved ones and everybody. And celebrate. Celebrate everybody's goodness. Celebrate everybody's achievements, everybody's success. Those are the type of things that'll change the world. Not bombs. Drop some spiritual bombs. Anyway, I love you all. Next time. Okay, but number two, before I go, number two, negative confession. I have not disturbed the peace. I am peaceful. I have not disturbed the peace. and I am peaceful. I pray and send energy that you will find inner peace.